Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me.
You are now tuned into the Thaboxingvoice Radio. Join us every Thursday and Sunday, live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Thaboxingvoice.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio. It is a special Border Wars treat, as we have now officially made Border Wars for February 29th. We have a slew of fights scheduled for that particular date. We'll give you all the details on the main event. We're going to be having Marvin the Tank Furman 3-0, defending his WBC and the WBA titles as he makes his first defense versus Iron Sal of California. So it's Texas versus everybody. Californian in Sal flying to Texas. We have Mide, our very own UK brethren, coming to Texas and still waiting for a fight. He was scheduled to fight WhiteBoy, and WhiteBoy is now taking a title shot versus Southside Deucey at 160 pounds. Deucey defending his 160-pound WBC belt that he won in the last Border Wars versus Lauren. We also have Donel, I'll fight anyone Fernandez, taking on Houston, Texas's own JD. JD coming off of that Mide loss and trying to really make a name for himself, get back in Mide contention, Mide being the mandatory for Southside Deucey and WhiteBoy winner. Then we have Rob in the Philadelphia, New Jersey area taking on Machine Gun Matt Garces from Texas. And like I said, Texas versus everybody. We even have Colin all the way from, I believe it's Seattle, flying in to take on Jordon from Florida. Today, we're going to have our version of ESPN's Unguarded with Andre Ward. They aired it with Terrence Crawford. Andre Ward was the host. Well, today, I'll be your host, and it's going to be an Unguarded episode with Jose and Loco Saenz, one of the first fighters to join Border Wars, 3-0 in Border Wars. And last fight, I believe, was in March of 2019, if I'm correct. We haven't seen him since then. We've had two fights in New Jersey, and Texas will be the third. So I give you Jose El Loco Saenz. El Loco, man, what's going on? Canada's on, right? Jose, what's up?
Absolutely. What's going on, Ness? Just hello to everybody out there, man, and Patreon. And I don't know if this is streaming live on YouTube or not.
It's live, baby.
This is live, baby. Well, to everyone that knows me, it's me, pound for pound, top 5 in the world, Border Wars first unified champion, beat the first real boogeyman. There's a lot of story that goes along with my participation in Border Wars, and just glad to be here, man.
Well, why don't you give us some backstory, man? I guess tell the world how'd you come to be El Loco Saenz? What got you to sign up the first time? What was it that I guess struck your attention?
Well, just like everybody else, man. Just boxing is one of my favorite sports. I love watching all kinds of sports. I've played high level university sports, soccer. Played wrestling, did volleyball, basketball. Like all the varsity sports you could think of, but highest level, obviously, I done soccer. Just always been in love with boxing, though. I guess it's just been a sport that me and my dad and my brothers just loved watching since we were young, and always been a little bit of a scrapper when I was younger, and just love it, man. And the idea kind of came about, and why not give myself a challenge, be able to live the day in the life of a boxer, and truly it is, man. Like, even as low level as it may be, we truly do get to experience it, right? So that's kind of what brought me in, and that's kind of what's bringing me back.
So just give us, I guess, some backstory as to what kept you out of the ring for the last 2 Border Wars.
Yeah, for sure. So just gonna put down my my gold here, just a little. It's a little heavy. Basically, my story is, I'm a 40-year-old man, the oldest active participant in Border Wars. I know Info and Alex Lemon have participated in the past, but I'm the active oldest Border Wars participant. And with that comes injuries, man. I've had my ACL done, had my MCL, broken legs, broken ankles. And at my old age, I pulled my Achilles tendon really bad. And I kind of persisted and played through it. I played a couple of games of soccer with that. I played a high level here in the city, even though I'm a little bit older. I still play with the young guys. And I hurt it really badly. And then just doing work around the office and in the store, I pulled it, and I felt something that I'd never felt before, to be honest. As an athlete, when your body hurts, and it just felt extremely rare and different. I went to the doctor, and I had torn a tendon in my Achilles. I had the option of surgery or air cast, and I took the air cast route. Kind of like the Tony Harrison way, where you can see Charlo is doubting and saying it's alive, because the air cast effectively is simple to get your hands on, and surgery is really the definitive thing that you could prove to people that you did in fact have an injury. But that kept me out. I was hoping to. That was the fight. That was my first chance, my first elective defense that I was going to do, and I chose as my first elective fight to actually fight Iron Sal. Iron Sal, being a smaller guy, having had some success in LA, I thought would be a good opportunity for me to get back off into the ring, build my confidence up a little bit, and be able to push around the smaller guy. So I was really excited to fight him. And then the injury came about. And then after that, I tried to rush back into the ring again. And unfortunately, the injury was still there. And just now, I've resumed normal physical activity. I'm playing soccer again. And, I'm back. I'm excited. A lot of politics have really done me wrong. I guess my personality and my persona of the Loco has really caused a lot of people to be jealous of me. I travel the world with my belts. I've never made a secret of that. I go to Mexico, South America, United States. Everywhere I go, I bring my passport and I bring my belts. And I think a lot of people had a problem with that, because I was the first true proud champion of Border Wars. I took my belts to the stadiums. I get pictures with people, young kids, beautiful women. Everybody wants to be me or wants to be with me. So that caused a little bit of a friction with other champions who weren't as proud of their accomplishments as I was, and because of such, man, the hate came. I got stripped only after missing my first ever Border Wars on. Let's
talk about this, as this is Unguarded. Let's talk about that. What do you think caused you to be stripped?
To be honest, like I said, it's that I'm a very outspoken, very vibrant champion, and not everyone likes that. Some people believe boxing should be, a sport represented by people with humility and carry themselves with a certain tact, and that's not me. That'll never be me. That's not a Loco. That's just who I am as a person. I've always been that way. It's gotten me in trouble, but luckily I've always been able to back it up, right? So it's just that, man. It's just the fact that I was loud. I'm obnoxious. I'm in your face. I'll just do it the way I want to do it. And it was enough for me, having missed one fight, to get stripped. So that's how I see it, man. I see it as the dirty politics of boxing. It doesn't just exist in the major leagues, man.
I have several reports that say you agreed to vacate your title for a match that you actually match made. I believe it says that you wanted Eric Cruz of Dallas, Texas to face Anthony Edwards of Cincinnati. And if they faced each other, because you were injured, you were putting your titles on the line for them to fight for it, only for you to fight the winner.
I mean, to be honest, a lot of things were spoken. I truly thought it was unfair from the get-go. I felt like I was put in a position where again, we have an internal fight chat to give the that aren't in the circle a little bit of an idea, right? We have an internal circle, an internal chat, and of course, this chat, as you can imagine, every single person on the chat is against me because they want to be me, man. It's just that simple.
The Floyd Mayweather effect.
Absolutely, man. Floyd Mayweather effect. You know, maybe I have a couple of less zeros in my bank account, but I got just as much skill, just as much talent, and ultimately, man, I got the O. You know, no one can beat me yet. So ultimately, what happened? A little backstory on that is I was forced to fight the reigning boogeyman in Border Wars, which was Eric
Cruz, SOG,
yeah, who actually on the first Border Wars beat my coach, an amateur standout Canadian boxer who is now turning pro. And I'll give all the credit to Eric. He went in and he beat him. Right? There's no other way around it. He beat him. And then in Los Angeles, he squared off against my brother-in-law, who's a former professional football player. And it didn't look like it was going to go Eric's way. On the onset, Zach, who is my brother-in-law, actually roughed Cruz up and actually knocked him down, or gave him a standing 8, I should say. And it looked like the fight was going to turn into our.
Was he officially awarded a standing 8, or was this like the Crawford knockdown versus Kavalaskis, where the people believe it was a knockdown, but technically it's not a knockdown on BoxRec?
You know what? That's where it's a little gray. The referee did go in and separate the action and did check with the fighter to see if he was okay. So in my opinion, it would have been, you know, a standing 8, regardless whether it was or not.
But it wasn't awarded on the official scorecards?
No, it wasn't awarded on the official scorecard.
Okay, so then Cruz was not knocked down by your brother-in-law, in fact.
He was not knocked down, no, but the action did stop. The action did come to a stop. That can't be disputed. But regardless of that, Cruz did go in, and afterwards I ended up having to throw in the towel because it was one of those, I guess Apollo Creed, what's the Russian guy's name again? I even forgot, man. Look what the lights are doing to me right now. What was
Ivan Drago?
Yeah, it was a Drago Apollo Creed moment, man, where Drago was just unleashing on him, and I could see it happening.
Face Anthony of Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was only fair, man. I was mandated to fight the monster, so I wanted Cruz to earn his way back into it and fight Ant, because he wanted the rematch after when I.
So would you say in retrospect, you just wanted people to face the same level of opposition as yourself? You didn't necessarily want to have the titles be placed on the line for that fight.
Absolutely, I didn't. I was being pressured. I had nobody on my side. I was being pressured, and I didn't full-heartedly.
Wait a minute. When you say pressured, from the report, the first person to ever suggest that was Jose Saenz. So, I mean, maybe the public pressured you the way that the public pressured Canelo to stick to his guns. He said he could make 152 to face Floyd. So maybe that's what you mean by pressure. But did the sanctioning bodies pressure you, or did you suggest two men should fight for your belts?
It was the sanctioning bodies. It was everything. First of all, it was the understanding that my injury was fake to begin with. Nobody believed it, again, because it's my persona, man. So I got to stick with it. I got to live with it. I got to go with the cards that I got, right? So at the end of the day, I was pressured. And then to just kind of summarize the whole thing, right when everything was about to happen or not happen, I ended up getting kicked out of the chat. So I ended up being removed from participation from that Border Wars. I had no access to any information. I was just directly removed as being the reigning champion to just being a bystander and just a normal Patreon member at that point, right? So I took it. I was upset, man. I had basically been shelved for two Border Wars, and I was upset, man. So yeah, there was a little bit of anger on my part for sure, but I don't believe that anybody would have been questioned in regard to having to have their belts be put up for a mandatory
fight. But again, you keep bringing up the injury, but the report says it was more about you wanting Cruz and Edwards to face each other. You were playing matchmaker.
The same way I wanted Nestor Gibbs to fight an opponent that had a fight under their belt. The same way I wanted every other person that was speaking to me and telling me to face a challenge. I wanted everyone else to face one as well. It wasn't.
So then you got desperate and you did something that you probably, obviously you regret, but you put your titles on the line for those two men.
I didn't. I had my titles removed from me regardless. That's where the difference is always going to be. It's always going to be a he said, she said.
Well, did you suggest it? Did you suggest it first?
No, I suggested that they fight and that I come back afterwards and have my opportunity
face the
to
winner.
fight Sal. I wanted to face Sal.
Listen to me. From what we remember, right?
Yep.
You swore Cruz wouldn't fight Ant. And because you thought that, you said, if you fight him, I'll put the titles on and then come back and fight the winner. But that's fine. We can't spend too much time. This is the first episode of Unguarded. Jose and Loco Saenz. If you're just tuning in, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. We're talking Border Wars. Jose is a former unified champion in our Border Wars series. It's season 7. We're taking place February 29th. We still have some official slots available if you want to join up. We have about 5 fights on this card, and Jose's making his comeback after how many months has it been, Jose, since you've been out the ring?
Well, I fought in March of 2019. I missed 2 Border Wars. So that would make it by the time I end up fighting.
1 month short of a year.
1 month short of a year, yeah. But again.
And in that time, what have you been doing?
Just been playing soccer right now. As of mid-October, I've been playing soccer.
When does training camp officially start?
I'm hoping to start as of today, to be honest. This is the kickoff of my diet. I'm going to start watching what I'm going to be eating. I'm going to be taking a challenge that I didn't necessarily think I would be putting myself in, but I think it's time. It's time. I got to rewrite history for the haters, I've got to show people.
And you believe you're going to do that with what exactly? Can you let the audience know?
Yeah, I'm going to do something that's never been done, man. I'm going to first of all, I was the first unified champion in our division in this fighting promotion.
What exactly isn't or hasn't been done, excuse me?
I'm going to win a title in a different division. So
you're fighting for a title next.
That's the plan. I'm gonna fight right now. I'm gonna fight what I hope will be my mandatory at heavyweight.
Wait. How could you have a mandatory? You don't have a belt.
No. I'm gonna try to create the champion to have the mandatory.
So you're gonna campaign. You're gonna campaign to the You're gonna campaign to the sanctioning bodies to make your fight that you're gonna have in February an eliminator shot or a mandatory shot.
Absolutely, 100%. So what I want to do is I want to fight an undefeated fighter in heavyweight.
And who is that exactly?
Tex-Mex. I call him Tex-Mex.
And
that's Joseph Rodriguez.
Joseph, okay, big SuperMEX.
Yeah, and along with that, I want to also make history, man. I want to fight a man who's 100 pounds heavier than me. A man that
wait a minute. You said this has never been done. What's never been done?
It's never been done, man. Somebody
to move up to heavyweight? Because I remember Cruz moved up. Cruz already moved up in LA 2017. Eric SOG Cruz. That's why we considered him, such a great fighter. He had already moved up and challenged the heavyweight in 2017.
He never won a belt at that weight. That's what I want to do.
But your fight isn't for a belt.
No, it won't.
It would just be a mandatory.
Absolutely. And then after that, I want to get my
So you're saying the history that you want to create won't be created on this fight, but yet the next fight possibly.
It begins. The journey begins now. And then what I want is ultimately the chance to be able to fight the winner between Eddie and Ness. I want that. I want the heavyweight belt, and I want to be, the big man on campus. And along with that, like I said, I've checked the record books. There's never ever in the history of boxing ever been a fight with so much weight discrepancy. I checked all the box records.
Well, I mean, the public thinks this is a cherry pick.
Hey, if that's what they believe, then that's great. Of course it is, Ness. Anybody that I face is a cherry pick. Nobody is at my level. That's what you have to understand. I'm just wired different than everybody else. I'm Floyd, man. It doesn't matter who I face. I'm going to win. So I'm facing a man who's 330 pounds.
Yeah, I
330
mean,
pounds.
he's physically not at his best.
He's not at his best.
This is not his optimal weight to
but
perform
Ness,
or compete.
Who is Ness? Right now,
You seem to be closer to your optimal competition weight than he does.
Yeah, but that weight is also going to favor him in other
So
ways.
Is this more like Canelo? You're moving up to face a Rocky Fielding type to test the water.
Not to test the water, to make my claim at the division. This is more of a Canelo Kovalev, right?
No. SuperMEX doesn't have a belt. He's never fought for a belt. He's not even a title challenger.
Well, Fielding had a belt too, right? So,
well, he had a regular belt, and that's what I'm saying. But he tested the water.
Look at it more of as an Usyk versus a Dylan White.
Well, that's not happening, and that's not even rumored. I mean, you mean Chisora, who has 9 losses?
Or potentially Chisora, whatever it may be. The journey begins here, man. Like that's what I want it to be said, right? There is no other heavyweight that is deserving of an opportunity to stand in the squared circle with me, man. If you look at a guy like Eddie, Eddie came off a draw. Mufongo has 1 victory, but he's unavailable for this one. I have Tex-Mex, who's in the same predicament as Eddie. Although Eddie is even at a bigger physical disadvantage. Eddie is 5'6" and weighs 300 pounds. I find Eddie doesn't throw enough. Eddie gassed out. Eddie doesn't have that discipline that Tex-Mex does.
Well, I mean, I can't allow you to down Eddie like that. 90% of the audience felt Eddie beat Mofongo. Eddie doesn't weigh 300, and Eddie has 5 amateur fights, and eye tests tell us Eddie is the more skilled fighter when comparing him to Joseph Big SuperMEX.
At the same time, 90% of people, 95% of people believe that Tex-Mex had beaten
Santiago.
His opponent, right?
Yeah, no. Again, well, I think Mide believes that Mofongo beat Eddie. But the problem is they both have draws. And if we're talking pedigree, Eddie has the pedigree. He trains with the Rock Star. He spars with them. And he has 5 amateur fights. And we seen that versus Mofongo that, he is the more skilled fighter. Now, what SuperMEX brings is a firefight. But the extra bantamweight on his back will slow him down.
As well with Eddie, as like anybody that's in the heavyweight division right now. And that's why I'm coming, man. It's cherry picking season. There's nobody up there that poses a threat to me. Nobody.
So why not do what Roy Jones and Terrence Crawford did and go straight for a title?
Because the person that carries the title, which is yourself, isn't deserving of that superstardom, man. They don't deserve that pay-per-view fight. There's a personal vendetta between
So you want
to
give yourself a 2-fight deal, 2-fight plan, huh?
Absolutely. I want you to be forced to fight me. I don't want you to be the one that says that you want to fight me. I want the governing body to tell you have to fight me. I want the fans to go in and see when ultimately I knock out Tex-Mex. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop him.
Yo, look at this guy. Jay Brown says, can I sign up for this clown? I'm 330 pounds. I can move. Let me knock his head off a little bit.
Hey, man, you're welcome to sign up, brother. Everyone is welcome. That's the thing, man. So once I win the heavyweight belt, then I'm going to go back down.
Those are big dreams, man.
85. Hey, it's a big dream, but that's what it's about, man. I'm also the first guy that took the first real challenge in this organization.
Well, you make a lot of claims about your accolades, but I mean, the first guy to take a real challenge in Border Wars was Eric Cruz, who had 2 fighters cancel on him his first Border Wars, showed up to Border Wars and fought your trainer, who is now a amateur declarated, who's turning professional. Eric Cruz holds a massive beat down over him. Then Eric Cruz moved up because, again, he was being ducked, moved up to heavyweight, faced my former opponent, like you said, a college football player, and scored a knockdown on him. Then Eric Cruz faced the true boogeyman. The true boogeyman in Anthony Edwards, someone that, you negotiated with, but you never fought.
How can he be the true boogeyman if you just said that of Eric Cruz? Was Eric Cruz not the original boogeyman? Was he not more
Well,
feared
you know
than
how it
Anthony?
is. What did Floyd say? When you beat
Was
one
he
guy,
not?
they always going to
Yeah.
prop someone else up.
And then that's what happened. So Anthony got beat already, right?
No,
so
but Anthony was the guy. Eric was the guy. Then
So what?
Anthony was the guy. No one's
So-
ever put you as the guy.
Exactly, because you know who everybody is. Everybody's led by you, Ness. You are the equivalent of the pastor. You're the sheep leader, man. The sheep follow you blindly. That's what I want to do. My whole intention is to come into Border Wars and just snipe you guys off one by one hater at a time. It's going to be Ness and WhiteBoy and Tex-Mex and Eddie and Anthony and every single person, man, because all you guys failed to realize boxing isn't about forming little cliques. It's not about Revenge of the Nerds, because that's who you guys are. You guys are all nerds. You guys were all nerds when you were young, nerds when you grew up, nerds when you're old. And you guys hate the cool kids, man. But guess what? We're always going to hold it on you guys, man. And come the fight, I'm going to go in and I'm going to beat all of you guys. There's not one of you guys that's going to be able to stop me. And I'm going to prove it one by one. It's just the way it is, man. And if somebody beats me, then hey, good for them. They'll be able to take the lineal championship, because even though that has even been tried to be taken from you can't.
You can't even be the lineal. Like no
Why
one
not?
was ever awarded the lineal.
Yes, they were, Ness. That was Cruz. He was awarded the lineal championship because he had beaten at that time the man who was the man, who was Huracan.
Huracan was the man? Come on,
He was
bro.
the man. He was the man with the
I'm
most.
moving on,
with the most
brother.
amateur
Unguarded,
experience.
man. Unguarded with Jose and Loco Saenz. We're going out to the people's question. The first one on Patreon is coming from Robert the Genius in Philadelphia. Says, do you plan on bringing your belts to Border Wars?
Absolutely, 100%. Just to give a little backstory, I've been threatened that people are going to try to take my belts. Like I said, man, you're welcome to try, take the belts. But I mean, for me, like friendships aside with anybody, that's theft, man. If anybody steals my car, I'm going to crack them on the head. If anybody comes into my house and tries to steal my TV, I'm going to shoot them. You know, that's just the way shit is. If anybody tries to take my belts, they've been insured, they've been appraised, they've traveled with me all over the place, man. They're part of who I am. They've been part of my birthday parties. They've been part of me when I go to the clubs. Like everything, man. Like it just, those things stay with me, man. The only way to take them from me is to beat me. So if anybody wants them, then just beat me in the ring and take them. Simple. Whether they're fake, whether they're phony, whether it is whatever it is, man. Just be man enough to take the belts in the ring. After I suffer my loss, just grab the belts and say they're mine. Simple. Very simple scenario. You know, if you don't believe in them, then guess what, man? There's billions of Catholics in the world, but not everyone bows down to God and Jesus, man. That's just the way it is. You're welcome to believe in what you want to believe, right? But, you know, believe it or not, I don't care. But if you want them, just beat me. Simple.
That one white boy in Texas says, after Joseph puts you in a body bag, what's next, El Loco Duck?
Well, like I said, what's next is to force the fight between the winner of Eddie and Ness. That's what I want. I want the winner of those two guys, right? I want to see how my body handles the weight at over 200 pounds. I want to see, how they look. And that's what I want, man. I want to take that challenge. I want to push myself one more. Like, imagine fighting Ness, like a 6'6" giant, you know, for all the glory and all the belts. It would be nice, man. It'd be a great story, a great way for me to put that cherry on top of my career, right? So it would cement me as the pound for pound number one. And that's what I want. I want to be the pound for pound number one. Luckily, thank goodness that there is a man of integrity who manages that list, you know, and I know Bo and Bama is going to be able to give that to me once I win the heavyweight championship.
We got Eric Cruz says, why do you pull out of so many fights?
Well, Eric Cruz, addressing your specific question, I wanted to rematch Eric Cruz in Texas. First of all, because Eric Cruz is painted as all other fighters are that aren't me, as a genuine guy, as a stand-up individual, as a man of the Lord, Pastor Cruz, all these beautiful things. And he is a beautiful person, without a doubt. I don't deny that. But Eric has a massive character flaw. He's a poor loser. He's a whiny little loser. I beat him fair and square. I went to his backyard. I beat him easy. and he was not man enough to admit it. He still isn't. He was not even man enough to shake my hand before the fight. That's what kind of character I deal with, man. As as big of a thug or as big of a shithead as I may be, I'm still man enough to look you in the eyes and shake your hand before the fight. And if you beat me, I'll give you credit for it. But he wasn't either of those two. So I was going to fight him again because, to be honest, a little bit of me wanted to just spank him, teach him a lesson, really, really give him some humility, But as soon as I made the fight announced, I thought myself and Ness were good again. Everything was cool. I go to Mexico and I plug in my headphones, and all I hear is Ness saying, "Oh, I'm this, I'm that. How can I be fighting Cruz? I fought Enrique twice, now Cruz twice. Cruz isn't the man to beat me. Cruz is this, Cruz is that." So you know what? Forget it. Why am I going to give Cruz the gift of fighting me, just to beat him again and have everyone hate, and I get nothing from it. So you know what? On to the next. My new challenge. My new challenge is Tex-Mex. And Cruz, to answer your other question, why do I pull out from so many fights? I was supposed to fight Sal because Sal was that little piece of lint that was stuck on my Armani suit. Every time I knocked it off, it would fall off somewhere else. So I wanted to just brush him off once and for all. But Sal, after I agreed to fight him, Sal is the one that went and he orchestrated the fight with Marvin. So that's something for people to know, right? It was Sal who ultimately went the other direction, not me.
All right. We have Brandon Maurice says, you seem like you live a pretty good life. What's your occupation, if you don't mind me asking?
Absolutely. We all live a good life, man. As long as you're here on earth, man, things are great. What I am is I'm an entrepreneur, right? So I work in the digital space, and I do a number of different projects that I currently do all at once. Like I told Ness, I would love to be able to have a Patreon show and be able to show you guys some of the things I do, right? So ultimately, I've been a 9-to-5er my whole life, worked in banking. And then from there, I just wanted to spend more time with my family, more time with my kids. And so I decided to be my own boss, right? So that's kind of the short of that.
All right. Really quick, we're going to take a break in between the questions and get some of these super chats. We got live engagements from the audience watching. And Loco Saenz, our first episode of Unguarded. We're going to be doing one of these with each and every one of the fighters on February 29th's Border Wars 7 card. Let me see here. We got Jose thinks he ran from an ass whooping from Marvin and Cruz. Okay, so wait a minute. There's more. Let me elaborate here.
It's more of a statement, I think, than a question.
Yeah. Jose thinks he ran from an ass whooping from Marvin and Cruz to the safe zone, but he's still running the shoot to get to same slaughterhouse in Texas. Woo! I guess. All right. Well, that's the only Border Wars super chat. I mean, look, SuperMEX is supposed to say that, but he's going into this fight the underdog. You picked a guy that's stationary, and we all know you are a boxer, that likes to move and use the ring. We need Cruz to give us the dimensions of the ring to see, does it suit you or does it suit the bigger man in SuperMEX?
I mean, it's not a terribly large ring. We were there. I've fought in it before. But it's like anything, man. I honestly consider Dallas my hometown, man. I went into Dallas. I beat the man who was the man. I beat him easily, and then I went into his own home city in his own stadium. And like I said, man, people were lining up to take pictures with me. I had interviews on TV. I had my Canadian brother Lennox Lewis take a picture with me. People asked what I had done. I told them, and they're amazed, man. Like, at 40 years old to be able to do this, and all these young bucks, they can't seem to shrug me off. Like, in all of this, it's forgotten that Cruz was 10 years my junior.
But why do you act like there's no controversy in all three of your fights?
Because, Ness, that's what boxing is. There's always going to be controversy, man. Unless you spark a guy out and you beat him, or you stop them. There's always going to be controversy. That's my style. My style is what it is, man. That's the gift I got. I gotta roll with it, right? I'm a slick fighter. I like to move. It's not that I don't like to get hit in the face. You know, I'll take a hit. It's no big deal. I took a hit from Cruz. Like if you ask Anthony, he'll tell you that, you know, getting hit by Cruz, his face still hurts. You know, he said that. And yeah, Cruz does hit hard, but I mean, so what, man? You know, if it's hard enough to knock me out, then props to him. If it's not, then I'm always going to find a way to win. My first match with Enrique, it was the first time I ever fought in a boxing ring like that. And after 40 seconds, I was gassed. I had nothing left. I was absolutely 100% done. So then the second round, where the infamous mouthguard came out, I lost that round anyway. I didn't even have energy to close my mouth to keep the mouthguard in it. You know, Enrique had beat me. When it came down to the third and final round, and it was, am I going to lose? Am I going to give up and let this man, you know, put the first L that I've ever had in a fight on my record? Or am I going to find a way to win? And I did. I found a way to dig in and win. My second fight with Enrique was even more controversial, of course, because I got hit with an illegal blow that the ref deemed as illegal. The ref, who's a semi-pro fighter, Mide, of course, that we all know, Mide immediately waved the fight off and called it a DQ. I'm sorry. What was I supposed to do? I got hit with an illegal hit. I was a little bit, you know, a little bit shaky. I didn't know quite what was going on. The fight was called a DQ, man. That's the way boxing is. Boxing's like anything, man. There's no immediate replay for the ref to think about what his decision was and take it back. The ref made a decision. He's an experienced ref. I didn't tell him to do anything. I didn't ask for the DQ. I didn't petition it. He said DQ. The fight was over, man. What can I do? Fight was done. My third fight with Eric Cruz, I don't find it controversial at all. I thought I went in and I sparked the kid, to be honest. I thought I beat him easy. But some will say it was close. Again, the sum is going to be Eric and Mide, who are just people that don't know how to lose, man. I think people that haven't won enough in life, you know, that aren't true winners, they just have a problem with losing because they've always lost, you know? And I think that's their issue, man. I think if you've won enough, you know when someone's better than you, and you could say, you know what, they beat me. Time to get that back. Time to win it back. Let's run it back. Let's do it again. You were the better man, but they just can't do it. They're not capable of it, right? And when that happens, and it may be you, Ness, it may be you who gives me that first L, I'll be the first to shake your hand and tell you, you know, that you got it done. So, you know, I'm not about making fake stories to just, you know, appease my paper shell, right?
All right, we're going to Eddie Bola de Grasa Navarez in Las Vegas. He says, Jose, is it getting harder to separate Jose, the guy, and El Loco, the fighter?
Not at all, man. Not at all, man. I think people think that there's this dichotomy between like a fighter and the everyday person, man. Yeah, you get a little bit more amped up and you get a little bit more hyped when you're gonna fight, and there's some things you say that maybe you don't necessarily mean, but ultimately at the true core, it's the same person. Like I said, that's me, man. I'm brash. I like to talk. I like to flaunt. I like to show off. I like to say shit. That's just the way I am. I'm not going to change that. More so if I'm having the attention put on me, I got to be able to fly with it. Some people think, you know, that it's a persona, that it's fake. It's not. Listen to me. I'm talking to you normal right now because we're having a normal conversation. But it is what it is, man. I believe wholeheartedly. I believe removing Mide and removing Dumi from the competition of Border Wars, I'm the best participant there is in my mind. That's what I believe. I don't believe anybody is better than me, that they can go in and beat me easily. Do I believe that you guys can still win? Yeah, absolutely I do. That's why I show up and I try, right? But am I sure that you guys will all beat me? No, hell no, man. I think I can beat every single person there, including yourself, right? So that's there's no such distinction between a Loco and Jose, man. We're the same person, man.
He says a Loco getting a lot of enemies.
Of course I have a lot of enemies in my real life, man. That's just the way shit is. You know what? I'm a nice guy. I got a big heart, but I'm also an asshole, man. I'm ruthless. You know, there's really only two things that matter to me, man, in life, and that's my family and my friends. Everything else takes care of itself. And those who are my friends know they're my friends, and I can say things and do things, but at the end of the day, I'll do anything for the people I care about, right? That's just the way it is.
All right. We got Iron Sal. He says, "Is it true you wanted to have a practice fight with Iron Sal? Laugh out loud to feel him out. Say
You
the
know,
truth."
say the truth. Of course, I told Sal that. Like, these are things that I do to troll people. Like I know that the word troll on the internet is something that people say that's used as a way to describe somebody who's just constantly, being negative or being an asshole, right? Sometimes I troll people to be playful and just fuck with them a little bit, right? Because I like testing people's gullibility, right? Seeing how gullible they are. Why would I fly all the way out to Bakersfield? First of all, I don't even know if they have an airport. So let's just say I'd have to ride a horse out to Bakersfield, right? I'd have to bring like a generator because I don't even know if they have electricity there, why am I going to bother to go out there, right? So I was joking, Sal. And what the bigger joke was you, because you gave me your word and you ended up changing it, right? So Sal, there'll always be a little bit of unfinished business between you and I would love to fight you. Like I said, when I also matchmake, I'm smart. The devil knows more for being old than he knows for being evil. And I'm smart enough, experienced enough to know that Sal's a bad matchup. I'm bigger than him. I'm stronger than him. I'm dirtier than him. I want it more than he wants it. I would just beat him. Easy. Sal was an easy fight for me. Just like I said, Cruz was an easy fight for me. The hard fights, I'm gonna start doing them. The hard fights are like Tex-Mex. The hard fights are Ness. The hard fights are Marvin. Those are the hard fights for me, and I want to start doing those ones too because I want to push myself and I want to get those done. Anthony's on that list too of somebody that is a hard fight, right? Somebody that I do want to fight before I end my Border Wars career.
All right. The next one comes from Terrell Harris. Says, Ness, I will spark this dude out. Ness, I will spark this dude out. No cap. How do I sign up? I put that you already have a fight. Anthony Edwards says, when are we gonna mandate this dude for a real fight? Why is he even being entertained? Well, we can't mandate a non-champ. And according to him, he's gonna petition for a mandatory shot at the heavyweight title, which no one believes.
Hey man, at the end of the day, this is what's great about being a superstar, man. I can't be forced. I can't be told what to do. I'm the one that makes the rules. I'm the one that's going to do what I'm going to want to do. You know what? Yeah, I got Cruz and Anthony to fight because that's what I wanted. I wanted to be entertained. And guess what?
But in the grand scheme of things, you ended up not being recognized as a champion, and you lost a lot of credibility amongst your friends. You signed to fight 4 fights that never took place. You promised to mail the belts, claimed it was too heavy. Then you said, if they fight, you would pay for the belts. That didn't happen. You've lost credibility at the sake of entertainment.
The credibility was lost by people that can't be objective, that can't be fair, that can't understand and be like, you know what, this guy has fought 3 times. This guy did fight his mandatory. He's really the only one at that point that did face his mandatory. Nobody else had. I did it. I went.
Yo, wait a minute. Southside Ducey saying that you made a $500 bet with him?
Of course we did. Yeah, but it was never official. I wanted to bet him versus Lauren. This is the problem. People talk and they say things. I told them, you remember, I wanted to bet him. I wanted to bet him $1,000 that Lauren was going to beat him. And it was never made official. Ness. Damn well I always honor my bets. I've lost bets before and I pay them. Mm-hmm. Ness knows that. It was never an official bet. People just like to talk. So Southside again. Southside somebody that legitimately I want to fight too. I believe the way he acted in the moment showed poor judgment of character. And I believe that as a man, he did that to a friend of mine that I care deeply about. And you know what? It kind of still irks me a little bit. So I would love, once I get my heavyweight belt, to go back down, lose some weight, and beat that boy up, man. That's the truth, Just a personal thing I'd love to do. And again, it would be an easy matchup for me. got the size, got the strength. Again, none of these guys are willing to do what I'm willing to do to win a fight, man. I don't care, man. You know, I'll gouge your eye out. I'll punch you in the balls. I'll bite your neck. I'll pull your hair when the ref's not looking. I'll do whatever it takes to win. And I don't care, man. That's just the way I am.
All right, we got Jordan Baker in Florida says, why does the champ in the heavyweight division not deserve the shot with you, but SuperMEX does?
Because, man, I call the shots. It's just like that. I want to go in and I want to put on a showcase. You know, I get to tell the story. I get to sell the story to the other side of my life, to the other people that follow me and my friends and everyone else and my local supporters here. I get to paint the narrative that I'm fighting a man 100 pounds heavier than me. It's never been done in boxing. And people are going to be worried and scared and they're going to think it's impossible, right? So I get to paint that story. I get to create that narrative. And you know what? I get a little bit of shine when I end up knocking them out and people end up thinking I did the impossible.
All right. We got Eric Cruz. This says, final question. Will we ever get a Border Wars in Canada?
Cruz, my man, of course. Listen, this is one thing to be noted again. After I went to Cruz's hometown and I fought him, and I ended up winning, whether you call it, close or not, whatever. I won. I wasn't given the option to defend my crown in Canada. I had said I would pay for the Airbnb. I would pay for the car rentals to pick the boys up.
That's not true. You were given the option. You were given the option.
I was not, because the guys didn't believe it was going to be true, because they didn't think it was.
No, you got upset because they trolled you. Same thing you do daily, and you took Canada off the table. Don't lie.
No, that's not true, Ness. You made a vote, and they said that no, nobody wanted to go. You asked the people, does anybody believe Jose? And everyone said no. You know what? And ultimately, that shouldn't have
And who do you have to blame for that?
Who do I have to blame for that?
The guy that told people he would mail the belts and mail gloves. Oh, I'm going to mail you all gloves. I got you sponsored. I'm mailing gloves. I'm mailing the belts. Don't worry. It'll get there.
Listen. This is also something to be noted. Every single belt that was brought to Border Wars was brought by me. I brought every single belt there. Every single belt I either won or paid for, and I had the belts there. You know, so these are things that are done. It's unilaterally decided by both the president of the Loco Saenz hater club and the president of the Loco Saenz fight club or fan club. They're both the same person. They're both Nestor Gibbs. Nestor both hates me and is jealous of me and envious of me and is in love with me and wants to be me and wishes he was me. And I think that mix up, the wires get mixed up.
I honestly think it's the opposite, because you have this long list of criticisms for me, and it irks you that every time you echo those statements, that's all they are, is they're echoes in an empty room. No one ever says the things that you say, except they say everything that is being said about you. Like, look at the questions from the public. Why did you duck this one? Why didn't you fight?
It's the group. It's the group. You gotta understand.
It's your peers. They fought you.
You don't profit in your.
They
land,
fought you, and they want to fight you. What are you talking about?
You don't profit in your land.
I don't hear Deontay Wilder talking highly of Anthony Joshua because he feels Joshua's ducking him, and that's how Anthony Edwards speaks of you. That's how Sal speaks of you.
These are all my boxing peers, and ultimately, removed from boxing, the people I know are my boys. They're my brothers. I'd do anything for them. That's the honest truth. But in this world of boxing, they're just jealous, man, because they wish they could have what I have, and they don't. They just don't have the ability to win at all costs. They don't have the ability to be proud, man. When was the last time you took your belt to Madison Square Garden or to Staples Center and put it around your shoulder, wearing the Border Wars shirt, telling people you're the champion? When was the last time you did that, Ness?
I haven't done it.
Never, because you're not a proud champ. Because deep down, those victories that you fought weren't real ones. They weren't wars, They were just something that you can't honestly put to your chest and say, it's something you're super proud of. I'm the opposite, man. For me, it's one of the greatest achievements in my life, believe it or not. Because at 40 years old, I'm able to still go in and run around with the Bucks, man, and still prove I'm the king, man. just the way
I
it
mean,
is.
run around with the Bucks in layman's terms. The normal definition would be like hanging, but yours isn't hanging. It's like an excuse in every fight.
No,
I just hope that you're able to finally get a clean, legit win.
I am, and I was. You know that I was. Like you know right here. You can say on air that you were the first one.
Yeah, I thought you
absolutely
beat Cruz.
suppressed.
I
There
thought you
go.
beat Cruz,
So,
but
Ness,
that's the
who thought I
problem. No,
didn't?
listen to me. But that's the problem, right? There's people that thought Castillo beat Floyd, just like there's people that thought Floyd beat Castillo. He had to go and correct that wrong. Just like with Wilder. Oh, they gave you extra time in the 7th. Correct that wrong. Just like with Wilder with Fury. Correct that wrong. And that's the problem with you. You allegedly went to correct the wrong of kicking your what do you call it, your mouthpiece around with Enrique to then winning a disqualification. Again, I give you credit for Cruz, and that's why I didn't want you to stay with Cruz and be that guy that has rematch, right? Why would you want your box rec to read Enrique Church, Eric Cruz? It's like, that's not legacy.
Okay, but Ness, now that we're speaking reasonably and calm, would it make sense to you for me to have gone in this fight and fought Anthony Edwards, who is, again, I would admit,
the problem, listen, Jose, the problem is we don't know about this alleged injury. So when you say, would have it been right? Yeah,
No,
because we don't.
I'm talking now.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, why not? It's because you got to look at the optics of it too, Ness. I would be fighting a guy who just came off a loss. So would it not stand to reason that my haters...
A guy that coming off a loss that is still considered one of the top. A guy that's coming off a loss that Cruz doesn't want to fight.
Okay,
a guy that's coming off a loss that no one's given a fight.
Okay, but Ness, listen. If I beat him, I will not be given the same respect that Marvin was given. I would say, oh, you know what? Anthony was already solved by Marvin.
Listen to me. That makes no sense because Anthony Joshua is the more popular heavyweight, right? He has the people that just believe anything. And he took longer with Dominic Brazil. Wilder still got credit, and he beat him after. So you could beat Anthony after. It's about how you do it.
Okay, let me just, I guess, explain it a different way. So if Anthony Joshua wouldn't have rematched Ruiz and said, okay, Wilder, let's do it. If Wilder would have went and beat him right away, the same haters that Wilder have, they would have said, listen, but Ruiz beat him. What do you expect? He was already beaten. He's already the shell of the man that he was. I'm telling you right now, man.
Dog, that's not boxing. That's not boxing. You are what we don't want in boxing. You're trying to say that one loss defines Anthony. That now he lost to Marvin. Now he's no good. That's ridiculous.
I'm not saying that.
That is what you're saying. That is what you're saying. You're saying you won't get credit for fighting another top 3 in the division.
That's what I'm saying.
He's top 3. He's Luis Ortiz. He's Luis Ortiz. Wilder got credit. Wilder got credit.
I'd rather Anthony get his rematch and beat Marvin, and then I'll fight him.
Right? So you're telling me people not going to give Earl Spence credit for beating Danny if he fights him and beats? Come on, bro. None of that makes sense. None of that makes sense.
It does.
So wait. Just so we know, again, Unguarded. We getting everything here. Gloves are off. You believe that you will receive more credit from Bo, who makes the pound for pound rankings, for beating SuperMEX than you will for beating Anthony?
No, but honestly, in that type of world, they're both unilateral. I got to look at the people that are my. I'm not gonna leapfrog you. Put it that way. If I beat Anthony, I'm not gonna leapfrog you if you go and beat Eddie, because you're
not gonna leapfrog me if you beat SuperMEX either.
Not, but I'm gonna stay right there at least. At least I'm taking a challenge that's not gonna take me off the list, right?
But you're calling it a challenge when you're going in as the favorite.
The only way to leapfrog you is 2 ways. 1, I have to beat Marvin, and 2, I have to beat you. That's the only things I can do to be number 1. And both of those things I'm going to be capable, and I'm going to do, man. I'm telling you right now, I'm saying it right now here, not for the haters in the chat, but I'm going to fight the winner of Ness versus Eddie. I'm going to fight Anthony, who I have to fight. I'm going to fight Marvin, and I want to fight Cruz one more time, and I want to fight Southside. Those are the guys that I really want to fight. I still got I thought maybe 40's too old. The truth is this, man. It's 6 minutes. I can do this probably for another 4 or 5 years, man. It's really nothing too extenuating.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
There's no reason why I can't go in for 6 minutes and fight a young kid. Like, no one is exceptional enough to scare me out of it, right? Like I said, there's only two guys that, excuse me, that I know that can beat me, and I'm smart enough to know what I know, and I know that Doomsday and Mide are just above my level, right?
And Robert Ortiz, right? Because you're the only one that could bring the Rockstar to the ecosystem, but you refuse to take that fight.
Why am I going to fight? I already sparred Rob. But Ness, if you look at the footage, I was fighting him with shorts on and sandals. Shorts and sandals.
Sandals, Jose?
Well, not sandals, but they have no laces. So shoes with no support at all. So, I mean, what do you call it? Like an elastic boot. Something that has no support whatsoever. If I move to the side, my foot falls out. Right? So that's what I was fighting the guy after I just sparred.
So why is it that you're running from him? You can make the biggest fight in Border Wars history by bringing a rock star with hundreds of thousands of followers on his social media, the blue checks throughout, Billboard hits, on iTunes, etc. The tours. I mean, it goes on and on, but you're afraid to make the big fight. He only wants to fight you.
Well, there you go. Another one wants to fight me. So how much better will it be if he had the balls to get a belt and make it even better? How much better would it be if he did that?
Is that he doesn't have to do it. He's the celebrity, not you.
There you go. But
you should be ashamed. You should be ashamed that you're not jumping at the opportunity to face a celebrity.
In this world, he's not a celebrity. In this world, he's a duck. In this world, he's a coward. In this world, if I beat him, I get nothing for it. That's what you don't understand. You don't get it.
Nah, man, you're crazy. You get that scalp. You're crazy. You get that scalp.
What scalp do I get? Will anybody say anything? They'll just be like, yeah, he had no balls anyway.
Nah. Bro, physically, you guys ain't even in the same room, okay? And technically, you're not in the same room. If somehow you were to beat him, you keep lying, and it's hard to have a sane conversation with a person that only lies.
Yes,
bro, because you and I both know, you and I both have seen Robert Ortiz. Physically, he looks better than you on the poster, so you're going in as the B-side. Technically, he's way fucking better than you, so you're going in as the B-side. Statistically, height, reach, he has above you. You're going in as the B-side. What are you talking about?
I disagree with you. Technically, he's not better. Why? Because he can hit pads in a more structured way. That's not boxing.
Okay. Well, the same guy that you were giving credit to in Mide a couple of minutes ago was the same guy that said the same. He witnessed the sparring, remember?
Yeah, and he saw that with one punch I sparked him. He also saw that Rob was like, don't hit hard, let's just jab to the shoulders, and then Rob takes a cheap shot. That's what he does, right? So I had to put him in his place. I'm telling you, a guy like Rob, I'll just outdog him, man. There's no interest for me to fight Rob, man. There really isn't. I mean, I just don't see the value in me fighting him. That's the truth. I'd rather fight a guy like Marvin.
The value is bringing his celebrity to the ecosystem, having the biggest name on anyone's resume. Dude, the blue check is the blue check. You can try and dumb it down. No one would have that sort of win. No one would have that sort of name on their resume. But I think we've said enough.
I don't even have a belt, Ness, in the world.
Exactly.
Of
did Floyd and Conor have a belt when he did his out of the ecosystem fight and brought eyes and attention? That's the thing. Only real superstars recognize super fights. You might not be that. That's why you fight in Super Duck.
No, you know what? The truth is, Rob isn't a superstar, man. Like he may be in his little world, but I mean, I'm not interested in a bunch of goth little 14-year-old girls looking at me.
I hear you.
We
need the full tape. We need the full tape. I think it's more about the skill and you not being able to deal with his.
Well, you may think that again, but like I said, I'm more strategic too, man. I'm very strategic. Why would I fight a guy that I won't get full credit for when I can fight a guy like Ant, who, in your opinion, is much more dangerous than Rob? Would you not agree with that?
No, I can't agree with that.
You can agree with that.
I can't agree with that. I sparred Rob. I can't agree with that.
You're probably one of the few that would say that, because everybody else would say that Anthony's more.
No, everybody else. Listen to me. Everybody else only can say that Robert is a duck. Other than that, The only other person that can even speak on this conversation is me, yourself, Eddie, and maybe Mide. That's it. No one else has been in the gym with him. No one else has worked with him. No one else has sparred with him. So that's all lies. I'm not
my
no
question
fool.
is-
I know his skill. I know his height. I see his power. I know his dedication. I know his intelligence on macros and dieting. You kidding me? That's
Okay,
that's
but
the
Ness,
hardest fight of your life.
But Ness, listen, there's always gonna be this. So then I'm gonna have to fight Rob, who is like
No,
what,
you don't got to
6'2",
fight anybody. I'm just
6'2",
saying.
175 pounds.
I'm just
Then
saying you
after I
got
beat
bigger
Rob,
fights.
Then after I beat Rob, who's next, man? Do I have to fight Deontay? Like you're friends with Deontay. Do I have to fight Deontay?
I don't know. I mean, look, that's the burden of a champion, right? I'm more in the Wilder and Crawford lane where I tried to fight Rob, he's afraid. You know, I tried to fight Ant, he rather diet. Marvin rather lose weight. So it's a different conversation for me. You have the opportunities because, you know, they see the vulnerability in you. You're Jeff Horn.
Oof, Jeff Horn, that's terrible.
No,
But-
you got the Pacquiao win, right? But you're still Jeff Horn.
Yo, but Jeff Horn's a bum who can't sell shit. Listen, this is the truth, man. Like Rob's welcome to come. He could come to our world, but you know he.
But
can't
that's
come
the
straight
thing.
to the
You
top.
got to sacrifice. He's only willing to fight you. Bite down. Beat him. But anyway, man, listen, we got to wrap this up. We've been with you far long enough. We're going to come back with another one, possibly today with some more of these fighters. I got a couple of calls. Let me see if they want to even talk to you. We're going to Keem in Florida. Talk to me.
Give me 1 minute. Let me get off Bluetooth.
No problem. Yeah, so if you guys want to call in, maybe you got a question for Jose at Loco Saenz out of Canada, former unified champion, Border Wars, first unified champ. Now Marvin is the reigning, defending unified champ.
Yo, speaking of that, since I actually have the platform.
Well, we're gonna get to callers now. We got through
It's
that
all-
portion
it's all-
of the
it's all good.
interview.
It's all good. It's all good.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, what's going on, Keem in Florida? You got anything for the former champ?
Not much, man. I just wanted to hear what Jose had to say. You know, I think that I don't, you know, I'm not in the Border Wars chat. I'm not behind the scenes, so I don't know everything you guys know that's going on. But I do always feel like Jose kind of isn't given a fair shot to speak his piece. So I wanted to hear what he had to say on this show. You know, I feel like he was given his fair shot. So it was more just really hearing what he had to say. I don't have too many questions.
And do you
for Jose.
feel like he gave you a good enough reason as to why he still has not given Anthony Edwards, now Marvin, either the money for the belts that Marvin and Anthony spent or the belts that Marvin should have earned, which he's parading in this interview?
No, I don't think that was fair at all. If he said that he was going to do that, then as a man, he should have did it. You know, whatever happened, that it didn't happen, that is what it is. But that's not right. I don't think that was fair. But you know, as far as his competition level, listen, I give Jose his credit for beating Cruz. I thought that was a good fight. I don't think he sparked Cruz, but I thought he did what he had to do to win that fight. And you know, the Enrique fight, I don't think I watched no, I did see the first one. You guys did post that once, and then the second one wasn't much of a fight. But I do give him his credit for fighting Cruz. But I do think that at this point, you know, it's kind of like the Bud Crawford, man. I know you got the skill, Jose, but I want to see you in there with the top names. I don't want to see you fight SuperMEX. I want to see him fight. You know, I want to see him fight Ant or Sal or some of these better guys in Border Wars. You know, so I kind of didn't like what I heard today that you're gonna fight SuperMEX. I don't see that as really being much of a challenge for you. We know SuperMEX is more on a weight loss journey right now, and it's kind of had other plans, and you kind of coming in trying to derail him and use him for you know, a narrative you creating. But yeah, man, I just think Jose's too good for that. I think you should be fighting better opponents than SuperMEX, man.
All right.
But that's it.
I appreciate that, brother. You know what? And to be honest, yeah, I mean, I do too, man. I think that SuperMEX is an easy fight too, and it's one of the reasons I'm picking him. I just can't go in every single fight with the top guys, you know? It's also fair for other people to step up and do it. Like, Ness has not fought anyone that's even fought before. I got stripped after my first fight of not being able to show up. Do you think if Southside Ducey doesn't show up, he'll get stripped? Do you think that Marvin hasn't even made 185 and he got to get the belt?
Jose, you have
It's
to
just
stop
unfair,
saying
man.
you have to stop saying you got stripped. Like we just went through it. You just
No,
admitted you match made
I
that
didn't
fight.
admit. I
No,
wanted
yes,
them
you
to fight.
did.
I
It's
wanted
on
them to fight
audio.
for the opportunity to fight me, but you stripped me.
No,
You're the one that did
So
that.
so
Yes,
did I?
man.
So okay, cool. Let's move on from that. Did I also say that I would send the belts via mail?
Did you also kick me out of the chat?
But did
Ness?
I say that?
No, Ness,
Did I
yes?
say that or did you?
No, Ness,
Okay,
did you
so
not
we have
kick
to
me out
move
of the
on, all
chat?
right? We have to move on because
Well,
you
again,
know
don't
what
want
you
me to
said,
say
brother.
It, though. Ness, you kicked me out of the
I
chat.
kicked you out of the
because I
chat
couldn't do
after
the
you
job.
didn't send the belts.
No,
Bro,
kicked me out
you
of the
took
chat.
the
No,
belts.
that's not true. You kicked me out of the chat before, Ness.
Bruh,
Before.
the men had a fight. Remember, Anthony fought and Cruz.
I told you
the
I
belt
didn't
was
want
supposed to
send
be
the
there.
belts. I told you I didn't want to send the belts, and that's when you kicked me out. You know, because
Yeah,
I don't think it's
after
fair.
you reneged. And then
I reneged.
you said, look, you gave so many excuses until ultimately, and that's why I don't even know why they accepting you back. Like the route you took is unforgivable unless you ask for forgiveness because you took the
it's your
belts. Hold on a
narrative,
minute.
bro.
Hold on a minute. The truth is this. You took the belts. You told those two men fight for them. And then when they fought, or when they agreed to fight rather, you said, okay, I would mail the belts. Then you said, it's too late to mail the belts, so I'm going to pay for new belts. Then you said, you know what? I'm not paying for new belts. I'm not mailing the belts. I'm keeping these belts. They my belts. And you know, it's just unfair to them because you know what? Anthony lost to Marvin. He could have lost as a champion. He could have lost in his first title defense. You robbed him of that and you laugh. Like, that's what bothers me. That's why I kicked you out the chat because you're treating them unfair. Eric chose to fight Anthony, something you yet to do. He chose to be brave. So when he has this fight, there's no belt there. There's no belt for Anthony to raise his hand and say he became champion. It's unfair what you did.
Yeah,
but
and
let me just get to the callers, bro. We've been on this show for too long, bro.
You like to say that, man. So he gets to get my belt after what? After I can't fight because I'm injured?
After
And
you put it up. We didn't
Ness,
make that
no.
up, brother. We didn't make that up. You did that. That was your offer to them. You
you.
didn't expect Cruz and Anthony to fight. You
that
said
was you.
something that you didn't expect would happen, and it happened. And you are trying to backtrack.
That was you forcing the
Sure.
narrative, man.
Sure, everybody knows, bro. I haven't forced anything.
You tell the story, but you don't tell the story to the guys and tell them, listen, after one fight of him not being able to be present when he tore his Achilles,
No one stripped you. No one stripped you. After one fight,
why would the belts? So Ness, why would the belts go
put
up?
it up. Jose, we can't go back and forth. You put it up. I never suggested for Cruz and Ant to fight. All that was you. All right, so have Cruz call in. Cruz, call in.
I said,
look, we gotta move on. We have to move on. Text Cruz to call in. Text him. I'm gonna get to Pat.
You just want to tell your story, man. You don't want to tell the truth. That's the difference.
The truth lies with either Ant or Cruz. They're the ones that fought for the fake belt.
Ness, you're the one that made the decision. So just
I
answer
didn't
me
make
this one
anything.
question.
I didn't make anything.
Why would
that
you
was
not
your
say,
negotiation. I have nothing to do with it.
Why
Nothing.
would you not say? So then why would I be fighting Sal? So I was fighting Sal for fun?
Can we get to the calls? I don't even know when you was fighting Sal because you've pulled out the Sal fight twice. Before Anthony and Edwards fight and after.
It was the same fight. It was supposed to be the mandatory fight.
You pulled out before you pulled out before the first New Jersey. You were supposed to fight Sal for the first New Jersey.
And Cruz and Anthony fought the first New Jersey.
Yeah, and you were supposed to fight Sal then.
Exactly. And
the
winner
you pulled
of
out.
Cruz and Anthony was going to fight the winner of me and Sal for my belts. And then I got injured and you said, fuck that. That's not fair. You're faking. And then this whole narrative came of the faking and I got stripped. There you go, Ness. You just said the truth. Thank you very much.
You could try and twist the narrative all you want. You know what I mean? You asked for those two men to fight, and you said you would put up the belt. Once they fought,
once you fought, would then fight me for the belts, Ness. And
okay,
you said,
cool,
no, fuck that.
cool, bro,
He's
cool.
faking.
Listen, cool. I'm making this up, and everyone else in the chat is also making it up. No problem.
They are.
All
they
right.
are.
Pat in Beantown, you talking?
Yeah, I'm here. I just got off work. Yo, shout out to you for the shows lately, Ness. Helps me get through work much quicker, you know. I know I'm always on the Skype, but I'm happy that you go through me quicker, knowing that I might be working, not holding up the lines, you know. But to me, Jose is the Tyson Fury of border wars. It's funny that he says he tore his Achilles, he said, because that's the same excuse that Tony Harrison was using.
Hello? Looks like he dropped
Go
off.
to just to back out of fights, you know.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. That's the thing that he doesn't want to agree. But Cruz is in the chat that says Ness is right. Jose called me to fight Ant. Thank you.
Of course, Ness. That's not the.
That
Ness,
is the
please,
case.
No, Ness. Please tell the truth. Yes, I wanted them to fight, and the winner of them two was going to fight me for my belt. They were going to be my mandatory.
Negative.
And then when I couldn't fight, the narrative came.
Him say that again. Then let's see if he says that because he didn't type any of that. He had
The
liberty.
Them two was going to fight me for my belts, and then I got stripped, and then I got accused, just like Pat says. Like Pat, I'm sure is a great guy. He follows TBV, and Pat, without knowing, says, "Yeah, he faked," just like Harrison. People are going to say that. They're going to say that I faked. Why would I fake Sal when I went all the way to Cruz's hometown to fight him? It just doesn't make sense. You know? Just like what Harrison said. Why am I going to fake an injury to fight you when I could have came back and fought somebody else instead? You know, I wasn't afraid of fighting Sal. I got injured. And then because of the injury...
The difference is Harrison didn't become a matchmaker during his injury, did he?
Ness, you know what the truth is, man? Those two guys were going to fight. The winner was going to fight me for my belts. You didn't like the fact that I was injured and everybody accused me of faking. They faked it and you said, oh, no, because you know that when they fight. So then I got stripped and all this shit happened because of this, because the jealousy arose from me faking an injury. You know, because I faked an injury. That's what happened. And that's the truth. That's the honest to goodness truth. So guys like Keem, you guys can understand. Imagine the first time you don't fight, you get stripped of your belts.
That's not what happened.
That's what happened, man.
That's not what happened.
That's what happened.
You're lying.
So then why would they have fought for my belt?
Let me get to the last caller, man. Let me get to the last. I got to go. CYP, man. What up?
What up, man? What up? I love hearing y'all go back and forth. One thing about Jose, he's fucking entertaining. And entertaining, recognized, entertaining. So I gotta give you props on that. Got to. So this is Border Wars, man. A lot of people always ask me when we have our Skype conversations after, like, what happened with you and WhiteBoy? What happened? You know, if they're not Border Wars, members, and they don't know exactly what happened. So we need to get this shit settled live out your mouth. So y'all can go ahead and have y'all Border Wars, him versus Southside. Move on. Keep me out of the shit. Let them know in your words what happened. I ain't pushing you towards no narrative. You tell them who wanted to fight, who didn't, what happened.
I don't think he's not on the line right now, but he's in the chat somewhere, or was earlier.
I could speak to that too, because in the chat he makes it seem like it was a mutual agreement and that everyone's ducking him and everything else. The truth is he ducked CYP, man. CYP clapped and WhiteBoy got scared, man. That's the truth.
Straight like that.
You won't hear that, CYP. That's the problem, man, because you're going to be the next one on the list, bro, because you're entertaining, you're young, you're fresh, you're fly. You're going to be a great champion, and that's why people are going to hate you, bro. So, hey, man, you and I will ride in the limo together, my friend. That's all I can tell you.
I hear you, man. I hear you. But a little bit I do agree with, because when shit get real, Ness get quiet. You notice I asked him a question, and you gave an answer? That's because Ness got his little narrative. But damn well.
What do you want me to? I already came on here and told him that you decided you was gonna chill and you was gonna do it, and he didn't want it. Yo, it's just too much with y'all. It's cool though. He fighting Southside, and hopefully you can fight after that. It's nothing. He still got to fight.
So I ain't talking about him. His fight. It's between me and him. Who ducked who?
Between you and him?
Yes.
That's hard to say. It's a lot of
That's exactly what I'm talking
y'all got
about.
a lot of
That's that bullshit you be kicking.
y'all got a lot of back and forth. You remember you sent me a lot of messages and he sent me, so I don't know where anything originated. I just know y'all had
That
a
ain't
lot
got
of.
nothing to do. That ain't got nothing to do with me saying all that shit is in the past. I'm going to let it go as he is, and we can get the fight, and I'll leave him alone until the fight. That has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, but
So
at
again, who's ducking who?
at that point, you guys have already threatened each other.
What that got to do with ducking the fight? Threatening somebody is threatening somebody. We asking you who ducked the fight. We ain't asking you who sent threats. Who ducked the fight?
If that's not a reason not to fight you, then I guess he ducked the fight, brother. But if somebody's threatening me,
like
I'm
I
not
said,
gonna fight.
I knew you was gonna pull this bullshit because you said on the other show, you told me personally, it's what you said to the show. WhiteBoy hit you personally, said he don't want the fight.
Yes,
that was
he did.
after everything
Yes,
had
he did.
already been said.
Yes, he
I
did.
ain't never told you I didn't want the fight after everything was calmed down. I told you I'll let it go. I'll be a man about it. I ain't gonna say nothing else.
did.
Let's just worry about the fight.
You did. And live on air, I repeated everything you literally just said and said, WhiteBoy, take it. He said he's gonna be chill, and he don't want to. So I mean,
how the hell can't you say he ducked the fight, my man? That's all you have to do.
You want me to say he ducked the fight after y'all crossed the line with each other? Well, then yeah, he
There
ducked
we
the
go.
fight.
There we go. There we go. Y'all, including y'all. He called me a nigga
because both
first.
of y'all
He threatened me with his
paid.
partner
Both
first.
of y'all paid. Listen
What am
to
I
me.
supposed to do?
To me, both of y'all put y'all money up. There was no reason for y'all not to believe each other. The both of y'all called up. The both of y'all signed up. The both of y'all paid. The both of y'all put collateral. Then the both of y'all talking about he threatened me. He said this. Yo, Ness, I ain't say this.
Slow it down. What happened next? Did the nigga messages and the threats come first?
You hit me first. You
Which
hit
came
me first. You hit me first telling me, yo, look at what he said. After we had the fight, you hit me and told me, look at what he said. I hit him and said, bro, what happened? And he like, yo, XYZ. And then y'all had whatever y'all had for as long as y'all had it until y'all ain't had the fight. And I sent both y'all. Matter of fact, it was 24 hours. It was 24 hours because I sent y'all both the money back in 24 hours.
Yes, so quit shooting the narrative that I made the fight, and then I went and crossed the line. No, I made the fight. Then after
I never said I.
we weren't
I never said I. I said
yeah. It was that Saturday.
I never said
That same day. No, I'm telling you, that same day that I got off the phone, when I said, since the fight's gone, I'm putting in the money, it's good. That same day is when the DMs and the calls came. We both agreed never to say nothing. So how the fuck did I go back on my word? He started it up for nothing. The reason why he's doing them threats is to get the fight canceled. He went too far, and I went with him. And then I calmed it down after that. It was like, you know what? Fuck all that. Let it go. Let's just fight. And he still said no. So don't put me in that shit because it could be on again right now. Right now, it could be on again.
That's why he don't want to fight. That's just, y'all two just don't need to fight. I don't even know why y'all deal with each other. Why y'all still talking to each other?
That's secondary. He's the one in the chat telling people I ducked him, and you won't shut the shit down. If you shut it down, then maybe he still has no relevance.
He's on the line. Let us get to him. Let us get to him because I got to go, like I said, 16 minutes ago.
Listen, this WhiteBoy coming at you. CYP ducked me. I don't care what anyone says. He can say it if he wants. That fool threatened to shoot up a place of just boxers. You know what I mean? We come in to the ring and we're not trying to kill each other. You know what I mean? CYP's a joke. He's a bum. I got to fight with Southside Deucey. I'm going to put Southside on the north side. And my interview's coming up sometime today. So CYP's a bum. And yes, I'm the one that finally said, I don't want to fight that fool.
So for the record, you ducked him then.
He can have it. For the record, I duck CYP. There you go. If that makes him happy and if he shuts the hell up about it, I'm good.
Well, I mean, in principle, he doesn't want that. In principle, you pulled out the fight. That's
In
what he
principle,
wants.
he sent the footage to you and then hit me up and said, the fight's over with, bro. I don't go like that. I don't threaten people with homeboys. When that fool was threatening me with his family in Dallas, you know what I mean? Before any of that, I had no problem with it. That fool went personal with me way before I ever took anything with him. Man, I was clowning this dude, sending him videos of me clowning him. He just got ass hurt and put out the fight talking about, oh, I'm gonna shoot the place up. You just went too far now. You went too far. Hey, you disrespect me, I'm gonna disrespect you, bro. You went on a level that is a no-go as well for me. Talking about my family and shit as well. So it is what it is. And you the one that really pulled out the fight, if you ask me, and then coming back, sorry, I'm sorry, my bad. We can still fight. Now you just felt the heat because you a bum and you a duck. Now I'm fighting for the 160-pound strap. Suck it. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, all right.
I'm out.
Well, there you go. Joshua, are you just listening?
Oh, hold on. Don't be muting me after he get on and disrespect me like that. What kind of shit is that?
CYB, I'm muting you to let him disrespect you. I'm muting you to let him get a call like I mute everyone else when it's their call, bro.
Yeah, and I let him talk. I didn't overtalk that man. That man said what he had to say about me.
But wait a minute. So now you want to go back and forth. CYP, I just said 60. It's 23 minutes now. I said I had to go at 23 minutes ago. Like, you got your part, and you asked him to say he was ducking. He literally just said that. I got to go. You want to go again?
At the end of the day, if that's what he's saying, cool. Keep my fucking name out this border war shit, all you motherfuckers. Keep it the fuck out your mouth. I'm out of here.
All right. My Jose, final thoughts.
Final thoughts, to be honest, I didn't really want to talk too much about the belts being stripped and this and that and the other because I wanted a different narrative. So I'll let it stay with what it is. You know, some people will think that I stole and I lied, and that's fine. But people that know me, know my character, know that I'd never do that. Regardless of that, it's a new chapter. You know, Ness, you're my boy. I love you lots, even though you're an asshole and a hater. You're still my brother. And you know what? Ultimately, man, sometimes like brothers gotta do. At the end of the day, I think this beef will be finally squashed once and for all when we meet for the belts, brother. And I'll be excited for it. It'll be fun. It'll be a fucking. It may look like a sideshow or like a circus, but I think it'll be fun, man. Two old guys that are gonna go in for pride, and it'll happen, man. It'll be a big showdown, and you may doubt it, but I'm telling you, man, get through Eddie. I hope you get through Eddie, and then let's do it, man. That's all I got. Appreciate the shine. Whether you love me or whether you hate me, you know me. That's all that matters.
Peace.
Peace.